You're listening to KCYP 97.7 The City. This is Scarlet Rose, and you're now listening to RGV Rocks. You're listening to KCYP 97.7 FMLP The City. This is Scarlet Rose along with my co-hosts,
Rock and Rudy.
And welcome to RGV Rocks KCYP 97.7 FMLP The City. It's a nonprofit organization that promotes local artists such as myself and is the home of indie music. We are now accepting donations through our website www.thecity977.com, and as well as sponsorships to keep this radio station thriving. For more information on paying donations, sponsorships, or business advertisement, feel free to contact Joe Martinez at 956-789-0702 or by email at martinezjoe@hotmail.com. I will be leaving those links in the description below if you guys want to donate to the station or even become our sponsor. We need sponsorships for this radio station to run. I know we already got one for the radio station, but we need one for our show. So come on, people, we need some sponsorships going. But if anybody is interested of who we are, what we do, RGV Rocks is a radio show dedicated to local talent, events, and all the wonderful people in the RGV, such as you and I. Rudy, I know we have a very special guest as well as a legend here on our show. Do you want to give a very special welcome for him?
It would be my honor. It really would be. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, women, children of all ages, this is a man. He's a myth. He's a legend. He is like one of the last unicorns, if you will. The man has been around for a while now, on the air since 1979. The one and only Mr. Mando San Roman. Yeah! This guy still looks the same like he did back in the days. Let me tell you, I don't know. He must have found the fountain of youth, but he doesn't want to share it. You know, that's okay. That's okay. Mr. Mando, how you doing?
I am blessed to be here with you guys. Thank you so much for inviting me to the show. RGV Rocks, no doubt, man. And I want to thank the people here at 97.7 FM, The City, for allowing us this time. And Scarlet Rose, Rock and Rudy, you and I go back a long ways. And, it's a pleasure to be here with you guys. Thank you so much. I was waiting for you to introduce somebody else when you said the myth, the legend. I said, who? Me? Well, anyway, I don't think so, but thanks anyway. Appreciate that.
Well, you've been on air for the longest time. You've worked with lots of people. You've introduced and worked with lots of great talent. You yourself are also a great talent. You do have a band that is still thriving and making it out there and making a lot of great music and all that. Sincero, correct?
Yeah, Sereno. Yeah,
Sereno,
and that's cool. A lot of people do call us all kinds of things, from Sincero to Serrano. One time we played out in Florida, and the sign, a big sign in front of the hall, it said, "Tonight, Grupo Serrano." So what? We're Sereno. I guess because they called us the Valley's hottest back at the time. So I guess they figured Serrano, Chile, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah.
So how is your radio life going for you right now? I know that you are now with Super Tejano.
Absolutely, yeah. I've been with Super Tejano, I think, since back in let's say about 2011 or 12. I started doing some contract work for them, voice work, and then I started doing some radio remotes. Eventually came on board on the air doing the morning shift. I think it's already been somewhat like 8-9 years, something like that. So yeah, it's Super Tejano 102.1, where Tejano lives. That's where I'm at.
Now you know why, ladies and gentlemen, this man is a legend. Listen to his voice. I mean, it's recognizable everywhere. I can be talking to him on the phone, and I know it's him if he tries to joke with me or whatever. But it's Mando. It's him. You can't just distinctive voice. That's what it is. Real nice. So let's get started here, Miss Scarlet Rose. What you got for the man here?
Well, we usually ask our very infamous question, especially here on RGV Rocks. And that question is, what do you like about the RGV and why?
Oh, God, so many reasons. One, believe it or not, the weather. A lot of people believe it's too hot, too humid. But you know what? I'd rather be here in the Valley than any other place in the world, honestly. I love it here. You have the border real close. You have an island, the beaches very close as well. And we're not too far away from San Antonio, Austin, and Houston. And, you want to go the other way, go to Corpus and Laredo and stuff. So I think I love the Valley, honestly. The people are so friendly. Everybody that you see around the streets, you run into people, they always smile. It's very warm-hearted people. And the food the food.
You keep saying the food, but you're skinny. Look at you. I mean, you're like, wow. I mean, like I said, you still look the same today like you did back then. Real nice and trim fit, and all. Real, sometimes with a beard and goatee, sometimes not, just like the way you are now. But I mean, you just look amazing, Mando. You do. What's your secret? And don't say Diet Dr. Pepper.
Actually, because earlier, before we went on, I showed Mike. I said cheers, and Rocket Rudy goes, salud. What do you have there? Bourbon and Coke. I said, no, it's virgin bourbon and Dr. Pepper. I don't drink. I haven't drunk in the past 6 years. But to answer your question, why or how do I keep young? I have no idea, to be honest with you. I mean, me desvelo. I'm always, staying up too late, getting up too early. I work very hard. Honestly, every weekend I'm out there working, either, playing with a band, doing remotes for the station, emceeing, DJing, you name it. And of course, during the week, always doing something. I'm also part of a nonprofit organization called Tejano Music Hall of Fame Awards, which we hold an awards event that happens here in the RGV, recognizing musical talent in the Tejano music genre from all over the state and beyond. And so I keep very busy. I guess that's the secret, staying busy. Keeps my mind going all the time.
I wanted to add on to that actually, because I know you mentioned the weather and no one answered that specifically, because everybody's like, oh, it's the food, it's the culture, not the weather, because that's like the last thing on their mind.
But it's funny how the way he said that, because he says that, because over here it says this, we're hot, which is true. I'd rather be a raisin than be a grape. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather sweat than shiver, and you're right, Mando, it is true. I mean, everybody says the same thing, the tacos, the tortillas, the beaches, stuff like that. But yeah, you were the only one who actually said the weather.
Yeah, because I soy bien friolento, I'm always, I'm always cold, so to me, the warm weather, yeah, it gets too hot, no doubt about it, very occasionally, and certainly during summer. But I love that we have summer and spring and fall most of the year, and a short winter. I like that.
There you go. On one of the pictures you had sent me, you were with Mr. Emilio Navaira. May he rest in peace. His birthday was just passed recently. I think it was last week on Tuesday. I think it was his birthday. He's a San Antonio native, born and raised, and he's one of the greats that made it out of San Antonio. How was it knowing the man physically? I mean, I've only met him one time with Raulito, and then never saw him again. But you were closer to him and you knew him better. How was it knowing somebody like that?
Yeah, well, I had the opportunity, fortunately, to meet him since he was with David Lee Garza, the Musicales. A very humble guy, always full of fun, full of energy. As you would see him on stage, him and Raulito just getting down and, just, rocking it, man, on stage. Of course, with La Música Tejana. I mean, this guy was full of energy, always very loving, even after the accident, he was out for a long while, when he had the tragic accident, came back, and all he could always say, he says, I love you, man. I love you. He'd grab you and give you a big old kiss on the cheek and stuff. A very loving guy, very humble, and full of life, full of energy. It's so unfortunate that we lost him at a very early age in his stage of life, but he definitely left his mark here on earth.
One of the great Tejano legends himself too. Yes, he is. And then as for yourself, Mando, back in the day, I remember La M, like I was telling you earlier, I thought you owned that station, but you said you did. And we really, a bunch of us, we were Q94.5 and the AC Cruz, Max Betancourt over there with Que Pasa and stuff. And when the Emmett started, we were all like, Mando started his own radio station. we're all applauding you left and right, because we know that, if anybody's going to make this station go, it's going to be you for sure, and we're all putting bets on that. Me and Bonnie, I bet you $5 they're going to last at least a month, and Bonnie like, don't pay, I bet you $5 they're not going to make it and stuff. But the ratings, that's what it was all about.
Yeah. So that station actually was owned by a company, called Sendero Multimedia. They owned a TV show called Puro Tejano, which Ragnar James, Iris Hinojosa, Matt Mexican also, and myself were co-hosts on the TV show started in 94. Show lasted till about 2002. I was the last one standing on the show as far as the host. And that show was owned by the company called Sendero Multimedia. They owned a media audio and video company. That company dissolved, so therefore the show went away. But anyway, they kept the radio station, which was La M, La Mejor. They owned the station, and actually we were like a small network we would broadcast here in the Valley, in Laredo, and in Austin as well. So it's pretty cool. It was the very first time that I ever participated in a network kind of station, and it was Regional Mexicano, Regional Mexican, which I had never in my life worked before. Never did I ever think I was going to work for a regional Mexican station. I worked English. I worked at 94, no, not 94, at 910 KRIO years back. And then I went into Tejano Radio with KIWW. Then I went to La M La Mejor. From there, I went to Que Pasa 99.5 as program director for close to 9 years. And then now at 102.1. But yes, that was not my station. I wish it was, but it wasn't, you know.
Since you are a legend yourself and you've done so many things leading up to this point, did you ever think you were going to go in this direction when you were a kid, or how did you get involved in radio to begin with?
Very good question, actually. Thank you for that question. And my love for radio started since I was, I guess in high school, in reality, because, I love music. I've been in music, playing music since I was 13 years old. So when I got into high school, they started a class called Radio and TV Studies. And I liked radio. I like all of us, we love listening to radio. And so I used to hear a guy by the name of Casey Kasem back then doing the American Top 40. And I loved the way he delivered and stuff, and, the teases he would do. I thought, man, that'd be cool to be in radio. So we had a class at Huesaco High School, which is where I graduated back many moons ago. And I think it was Mr. Silva who had that class. And that was my start of kind of getting into behind and understanding what radio was. And so when I graduated from high school, I immediately started looking. I started knocking on doors. I went to 104. I went to KRGV, to KRIO. And finally got a chance to get a job at 104, believe it or not. But the program director that was there, Bobby Orlando, before I got into Submissions with the Boss, I was already hired by Bobby Orlando, Bobby O. And then we had a death in the family. Couldn't show up that weekend. Next weekend when I was going to go in, Bobby O was no longer there. It was Steve Owens. And Crazy Steve had a different idea. He already had the staff, which I knew. But so anyway, I ended up starting at 910 KRIO. My love for radio started, I guess, at an early age back in high school. As a matter of fact, I started going to school in broadcast journalism at what is now UTRGV as well. And got into radio, and rest is history. Here I am.
Tell you what, legend right there. I'm telling you, look at the years, look at the notches on his belt and everything. This man has created a lot of great stuff, and it's still going strong. Sereno, right?
Sereno.
Sereno,
Z.
not Serrano.
Z. Yeah, what is Z? Sereno. Not Serrano pepper. Okay, not Serrano. Okay.
No, not Serrano. No. Music is hot, but not that hot.
How is the band doing? How you guys doing as a band? You all play frequently a lot, or some days, some weeks, or?
Well, as time goes, you start slowing down a little bit more. We used to travel a lot, throughout mainly Texas, but we used to do Florida, Idaho, Oregon, New York, Washington. Not New York. I'm sorry, Washington. We also went to Chicago and Michigan, Idaho. But so we slowed down. Now we play maybe a couple of times a month, maybe 2 or 3 times a month. The band actually has been together since 1985. So 4 of the band members are the original band members. We have one founding member, Jesse Cavazos. Then we have our singer, Carlos Aleman, and my brother, Joe San Roman. He's a drummer. And then myself, we've been in the band since back in 85 together. And the rest of the guys, Javi Guerra, guitar player, and Jimmy Cano, the bass player, are the newest elements in the band. But they've been already with the band about 5 or 6 years. So, yeah, we've been around for a while. But to answer your question, yes, we still do play. Not as often, but we're still jamming.
Because I know you're a mean sax player. And they I've heard you already there, and for a minute there when they were doing that song for the Duran Duran song Hungry Like the Wolf, how the way it starts out. I could have swear to God that was you. I was like,
we actually played, a band that we had called La Ganga was my brother and I's band. We actually played that song, Hungry Like a Wolf.
You're so instrumental. I mean, like, music, not only from the heart, but music inside yourself and everything like that. And I love how the way, like I said, you play your sax and everything, and the band works together and stuff. It's truly amazing. I mean, really, really amazing. And then you've done an amazing job with the radio life and everything, and look amazing as well too. Besides, now I know I got to
Thank
work
you.
harder, work more. I mean, I've already I'm working a lot now, but I got to keep working more and more so I can look like you when I get your age. Which is like you're only like 5, 7 years older than me. So, but you look
Cool, cool.
very good, Mando. Really, you do.
You mentioned that you are a board member for the Tejano Music Hall of Fame Awards, right? How did you
Correct.
get into that, or how were you asked to be a part of that?
Well, actually, there's three people that are involved in that I knew from before. Mike and Estela Flores, they have a promotions company or production company that they hold dances. They have a production company also to do sound and lights and stuff for other bands. But so they do dances through M&D Productions, and I used to MC their events. And then Balde Munoz, another one of the members, he is from he played with Los Únicos, Fabulosos Cuatro, Laura Canales, Fandango USA, to name a few. And so we all knew each other. They had gone to another awards event called the Tejano Roots Hall of Fame Awards in Alice, which, by the way, I'm one of the inductees there to that Roots Hall of Fame. And so they got the idea of doing an event, an awards event here in the Valley. And they asked me, because I had some experience doing some awards, which is something that Johnny O started here in the Valley called the Valley's Choice Awards. When Johnny O left Que Pasa 99.5, I took over doing that event. And we did it for about 3 or 4 years. So I had some experience putting on events as that nature. So they asked me to be a part of it, and I'm the vice president of it now.
I mean, but then there you go. You just mentioned, that one man, but he was, like say La Tropa F, you said Fandango USA. Those are all great legends themselves too, and everything, and this is why it makes you who you are, because you know all these great people and you hanged out with all these great people, and a lot of times probably walked out, crawling from a lot of places, but yeah, we've just too much fun and excitement in the radio life,
Absolutely, yeah. No, I've been fortunate to meet a lot of the people, probably everybody in the Tejano music industry, and a few others, and other genres of music as well.
How was it meeting that legend lady, the queen of Tejano there?
Well, when I met Selena, she was barely starting. She was about, I'm saying about 13, 14. She, we started playing her music on KIWW back when Mike Cantu was the program director. And so they started coming down to the valleys to perform. Rarely would they have a crowd. As a matter of fact, that time, my brother and I had that band called La Ganga. I remember performing at a club in Harlingen. I think it was Mario's Met Bull or something like that. And but I'm not too sure if it was called Mario's Met Bull or The Rose at the time. And we performed there. Both bands were barely starting to get known. So we had about 30, 40 people out there, and half of those were family members and our friends. So we were clapping for each other. So that's when I first met Selena, Abraham, AB, Marcela, Suzette, of course. And ever since then, we had a great friendship throughout the years, not only because we were all in the music business, but also me being part of radio and stuff. So throughout the years, being in radio and also as a musician and with the TV show, we did a lot of things together. And I still continue in friendship with Abraham, Marcela, and of course, Suzette and AB. Beautiful people, wonderful people.
Telling you, a legend right here, knowing all the greats and all that good stuff. A lot of great memories. You're just truly, like you said, blessed. Yes, you are very, very blessed. And I thank God that you're still here with us. And I thank God that you're actually here making the show with us, and I really appreciate you, brother, for accepting to do this. And I've always respected you for how the way you introduce yourself and how the way you are on the radio. And it's like they've told me before, what is it that gets you going on the radio? I go, I'll listen to Mando before I go to work, just so I can make sure that I can sound good. But like I'm telling you, when I was with the Q94.5 driving up and down, helping people out, instead of listening to my station, I was listening to you on the radio. But hey, I can say that now. It's okay.
Don't say, well, you're working there.
Yeah, not no more, but it's okay.
That encounter with Selena, because I noticed that because I was watching that a while back. What happened to the hair? I was wondering what decided for you to cut the ponytail off.
Oh yeah. So I had a mullet. Well, back in during that time, the '80s, a mullet was the thing. You know what I'm saying? The '80s and '90s, and so it seems like me and Peter Studio in the competition the longest here. But of course, Pete beat me on that one. And I decided one day it just got to be, it was too much to handle. It's like women that have long hair.
Yes.
You have to be fixing it and washing it and, making sure, when the wind blows. Oh my God, it was crazy. So I decided, forget that. So yeah, actually, I went about 10 times that I went to the hair place to cut my hair. And at the very moment, I would say, no, 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 just cut the top. Let's keep it, crazy in the front, business. Business in the front and crazy in the back. And so I finally I decided, and they actually cut the hair. Was about, I don't know if you can see how long it was. It was a long hairpiece, and I still have it. Actually, I saved
You have it?
Yes, I do. The other day we're looking at some things. What? My hair's still here. I should donate it to Locks of Love or something. But yeah, I still have that piece of hair, that my mullet.
Oh
We still
my
have it in a little
gosh.
plastic bag. I'm not too sure when I cut it. It was quite a few years back, but I just I got tired of it. That's what I was saying.
Just run a little bit of gel across it just to make it look better, right?
There you go. There you go.
Rudy, we got one more question for Mando before we end our interview. You wanna give the last question for this interview?
Okay, so Mando, I know that you've been a radio personality for the longest time ever, and I've known that you worked with a lot of great radio personalities. You've known a lot of radio personalities as well too. Mr. Joe Morales, that man right there, he's also an icon. He's also a great man. The voice that he has, hola mi Rudy, ¿cómo has estado? Stuff like that, When was the last time you've talked to Mr. Morales?
It was actually a couple of weeks ago, because he's one of our voting members in the My Tejano Awards. By the way, that's the name of the event that we have, My Tejano Awards, and he's one of our voting members. We select people from within the radio industry that actually deal with music every single day, and those are the voting members. And Mr. Joe Morales is one of them. So I had the pleasure of speaking to him a couple of weeks ago, and he's always with a smile, always. And like he says, every time we talk with a smile.
Yeah.
He's an amazing voice.
He would tell me that when I was at KIWW and he was there with us, he would always tell me the same thing too. Oh, mi Rudy, every time you go on the radio, ponte a hablar así, con una sonrisa, but that's basically the way he sounds, and I would always joke with him and stuff like that. And Bobby Macias played a real good joke on me one time. I was on the air. This true story. I was on the air, and all of a sudden the hotline goes off, and I answer it while my music's playing in the background, right? And then all of a sudden I hear, "Oh, mi Rudy, la estás haciendo mal. Necesitas que hacer esto." And I'm like, oh, but what did I do wrong? I don't understand what I did wrong. And then all of a sudden Joe Morales walks in, and I'm like, "So you're here." But who's on the phone? And then you can hear Bobby's laugh on the background. I'm like, hijo de su, mi hermanito, vas a ver. But Joe Morales Joe Morales goes, don't worry about it. We're going to get even with him. So when Bobby's cert was to come on the air the next day, Joe Morales called him into the office. And then he started talking to him and telling him something, whatever, right? And then I come in with the camera, with the video camera, and I go, we got you, sucker, like that. Because, oh, man, Bobby Macias, he's also Bobby Macias. He played a lot of tricks with you and everything, but I'll never forget that day, let me tell you. But Mr. San Roman, it was a real pleasure having you on our show today. Before we go, do you have any shout outs you want to do to anybody? Any platforms anybody can follow you? I know that you're with the Super Tejano 102, but is there any other way we can hear you besides on the radio,
Well, with the band, with Grupo Sereno, we have our page, Grupo Sereno. Well, actually, it's just Sereno, with a Zereno. You can find us there. And of course, I have my Mando on the Radio official page, and I have my Mando San Roman. You can find me there. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok, I think, also. And, just look for me around. And I want to send a shout out to everybody right now that's watching and listening to be a sponsor for this show, because I tell you, these shows are very, very important to our community. And people here at 97.7 doing a great job with the city. And of course, you guys with the show, RGV Rocks. Please follow Scarlet Rose and my friend Rock and Rudy. And guys, be a sponsor, donate. It's well worth it.
I wanna send out a big old shout out to yourself, Mr. San Roman. Thank you once again for coming out here and helping us out on our show, and actually coming and do the interview with us. I know it did take me a little while to get with you, but we did get it done, and I am so happy that we did. Of course, to my Scarlet Rose right here next to me, my co-host, she's been an amazing person and still is. And you keep studying hard, girlfriend. By the time you know it, you're gonna be just as great as this man right here. you know. And big old shout out to my two beautiful ladies, Drenna D, Darling Dre, my grandson Carson Dean, and I also gotta send out a shout out to mi tia Margarita. You remember Margarita, right? She's from Houston with Jesse Cruz and all them. She did tell me to tell you hi before I forget, because if I don't, I'm never gonna hear the ending of it, because she watches.
Awesome.
And a big old shout out to the Valverde PD out here in Valverde, Texas. If they really wanted to, they would have given me a ticket a couple days ago, but I told them I was gonna be on the air, so I had to throw that in there so they can get the ticket off. Beautiful people that are here, nice people. And to all you guys out there watching and listening as well, 97.7 FM the City, RGV Rocks followers, thank you very much for following us. For those of you planning on donate, we really appreciate every little bit helps, okay?
If you guys like to check us out, learn more about what we do, or just check us out, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Facebook and Instagram is just RGV Rocks, and Twitter is Rocks RGV. Once again, Facebook and Instagram is just RGV Rocks, and Twitter is Rocks RGV. We also have a Patreon, so if you guys want to check that out, be sure to go subscribe to us at www.patreon.com/RGV Rocks for any exclusive perks, because I know we usually do at the end of the show very special shout outs. And if you donate, I think to our first tier, you get a very special shout out, and any other tier is just like merchandise or like exclusive perks like behind the scenes. So you get to know who we are going to interview before the interview comes out. So you'll get to see that a little bit of a clip here and there. So if you guys want to go to our Patreon, be sure to subscribe to it. Also, a percentage goes to the station. So not only are you going to help us out, you're also going to help out the other radio shows on the station as well. But once again, Mando, thank you so much for joining us here today on RGV Rocks. I also want to give a very special shout out to our co-host Rock and Rudy. So thank you so much for joining me here on the station. And as well, I want to remind everybody, thank you for listening to our humble little show. We'll be here next time on KCYP 97.7 FMLP, the city. See ya.
Bye-bye. God bless.
Peace.